Hi, I'm Tessa, a veteran educator working in the field of special education.
And I'm Kim, mom of two autistic boys and a late diagnosed autistic person myself.
And welcome to Totally Over the Spectrum, where we dive into embracing autism through understanding and support. Welcome to episode 46, Building Healthy Routines. Is it a want or is it a need? Let's discuss this, Kimberly.
Routines are not just about preference. They are essential for daily function. I think when most people think about autistic routines, they think of eating the same food every day or wearing the same types of clothing every day. And yeah, those are examples, but I think that those are the ones that neurotypical people tend to notice. And I think routines can be more subtle than that. It can be doing a task in the same order every time, like brushing your teeth or cleaning the bathroom. It can really be for anything.
So we're just trying to kind of break the mundane stigmatism that goes around the word routine in the autistic community.
Well, I think that a lot of people think that it seems unnecessarily rigid or even obsessive because you can get very overwhelmed very quickly when your routine is interrupted or broken or you can't do it that way. Like, why do you have to eat the same breakfast every day? Or why do you have to make your bed and then eat breakfast and then shower? And I think that what they fail to understand is it's partly about predictability and safety, yes. Like you are trying to minimize the amount of mental gymnastics that you have to do in a day. You are constantly processing social cues, expectations, sensory input, and your own emotional regulation, and that is exhausting. So having stability and consistency is a really big deal.
Okay, so how about you bring forward on what it is that you would require, and I'm going to bring it to you from a perspective on some of the strategies that I use to help a person create and build a healthy routine.
Okay. I think part of it is for that predictability. And then the other part of it is that we often don't form habits like neurotypical people do. So when I make myself a chai latte, because that is the hot beverage of choice, I have found the perfect amount of each ingredient. I have found the perfect temperature. I have the perfect mug, and I have the perfect time of day to sit down and enjoy it. I make it the same way, in the same order, every single time. Now, if I get interrupted or some part of that routine is disturbed, I will mess it up, I will forget something, and it takes a tremendous amount of mental energy to try to get back on track because I'm not on autopilot. I'm carefully following a set pattern of familiar steps. So it is incredibly dysregulating, and I can get really overwhelmed, irritated, or depending on my tolerance level on that particular day, I could have a full-on meltdown. And I'm not upset because my tea isn't perfect. I have a couple of backup mugs just in case. It's that I actually can't function. The requirement of my energy to get back on track is overwhelming, and it's too much.
I think you've just given us a very clear example of a key or, important attribute of what a neurotypical person is and a neurodivergent person is. So I think that was an excellent example of how each person functions.
So I know that you've approached this on how to build routines. So let's talk a bit about that. For someone, like I have routines in place because I'm late diagnosed and high masking and full of anxiety. So everything is about routine for me and I just do it. Like that is something that I have already implemented. So if someone was starting out, where would they start out?
Okay, so of course, I would always say identify with your needs and preferences, your challenges, and your strengths. So once you have an understanding of what those are, it is the first steps in creating a healthy routine. Consider also your sensory needs because this is going to be crucial to help you regulate as you place all of these into, place a healthy routine into place. My next step would be start small, and gradually increase the complexity of it. So you're not going to dive into something and have juggle, three balls in the air. No, no, no. We're not going to do that because that is going to set you up for failure. We're just going to do it one step at a time. So the platform and success of one is going to be the foundation for the next. So we're going to scaffold your routine little by little.
I'm not
Does it?
sure that I understand that. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm not sure that I
Okay, go
understand
for it.
that. So I think any routines that I have ever seen in my kids who have way fewer routines than I do, it is just something that they have naturally done. It didn't need to be taught to them. So if if it was something that they enjoyed doing, they would automatically have a routine of doing that. I think when it is a non-preferred task, so if it is a task like teaching the kids to brush their teeth, then I would have to teach them the routine of brushing their teeth. Otherwise, they're going to miss certain steps in that because
Yeah.
it's never going to be a habit. They just have to follow the routine. So do you mean to say if there's take brushing your teeth for an example and then break that down for me?
Okay, so let's take brushing your teeth. That's a great example. So we're not going to, we're going to learn how to wet the toothbrush, put the toothpaste on the toothbrush. We're going to learn how to brush our teeth. We're going to perfect the technique of brushing our teeth in a circular motion, front, back, up, lowers, all of that. So we've got the brushing of the teeth. So oral hygiene has many aspects to it. So I'm not going to introduce flossing and using mouthwash all at the same time because that's going to be a very overwhelming sensory experience. So at first, I'm going to build the routine of, hey, I'm going to chain the learning and just say, I'm going to get you to do the first few steps and then I'm going to help you with the last. So brushing your teeth, and then I'm going to introduce using how do we floss our teeth. So we've got independence in brushing our teeth. I'm going to help with the flossing of the teeth. Once we've got that skill mastered, then I'm going to go, okay, now we're going to introduce mouthwash and to finalize our oral hygiene. So I'm not going to put all three major steps at the beginning of learning a routine, such as brushing our teeth or oral hygiene. I'm just going to build it step by step. So that's the example in what I mean by start small and gradually and then build the complexity of the task as you master each skill.
And how would you apply that to adults? I think you could. I think that there might be tasks that adults, new routines that adults have to implement, and if they were having difficulty implementing that you could still break it down and chunk that information and be able to figure out the best way for it. Because I feel like part of routines for me is efficiency. So when I am doing a routine, I have already done this routine so many times that I find the most efficient way to do that routine as well.
Yeah. But don't forget, I'm coming at from a perspective is a person that's really not built a lot of routine into their daily schedule, right? So they just aimlessly do things or not do things at all. So I'm just going to bring some mindfulness to creating a healthy routine and to be more productive and more regulating for that particular person.
Okay. So what was your next point? What was your next heading there?
I would definitely incorporate visual schedules, and I think visual schedules are going to be crucial for completing a task, and also and we discussed this in our previous episode, as one of our de-stressing techniques and toolboxes. Visual schedules are going to be great. It's going to help you remind you in completing the task. So it could be, a visual schedule could be used with as an example of pictures, and as long as it provides you the sequence of events that need to occur, that's what the visual schedule is all there for.
I think that's actually a great one, and I think that as an adult who has my routines in place already, if Tuesdays are cleaning day. That's cleaning day. So every Tuesday, well, actually, every Monday night, because I like to have it ready for me the next morning. Every Monday night, I have a huge whiteboard, and I love stationary stuff. I like the colors. I like dry erase stuff, and I will create a cleaning list, which is the same every week, and in the same order. But I will create that list on the Monday so that when I get up Tuesday, I can see, okay, first I'm going to start by putting clothes away, making beds, cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen, and I have that whole list written down in a specific order. And then when I complete a task, I go over and I erase the one that I have done. And I do that every single week. I already know, like I know what order I need it to be in. But I find that having that visual reminder sort of makes it easier to do. It reduces my mental load because I just have to look, I don't have to think about it. I just have to look at it and say, this is the next step. Go make the bed. Okay, I go make the bed. I come back, I erase it. What's the next one? Okay, clean the bathroom. And I understand that cleaning the bathroom could have its own subset of first you do this, first you clean the toilet, first you clean, those kinds of things. You could, because that can be a big overwhelming task. But I do have a set pattern of how I clean the bathroom. So I could break that down into subsections. I just don't need to do that. That this is where my list ends. But for someone else, they might have to do those little subsets of this task and break that task down.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, having a visual schedule on that is really going to help you move forward to that next task and also give you a sense of accomplishment, right? And it gives you like, oh, I've done something, right? And it's like, oh, I can move forward, and it's just a huge relief, right?
Yeah, I feel like things are getting accomplished because they were on the list and now they're off the list. And erasing it is very satisfying. It is satisfying for me to write the list because I get to use different colors and markers and those sorts of things. And it is also satisfying to erase it off the board and then it is done.
Yeah, it is. So in saying that, incorporate that predictable transition is erasing that that task of, oh, I did this, is going to help you. It's going to be a predictable transition to the next task and into that next aspect of your healthy routine. So so as you can see, I like to scaffold my and build these routine based one on top of the other. I know this is not going to be your favorite, but consistency yet flexibility is really going to help with building good, healthy routines, right? It's going to help you incorporate some of those mindfulness strategies that we spoke about earlier on. It's going to help you be a little more, have better effective tools in managing stress when we are in a stressful relationship. I know it's not your favorite, but go with it.
I knew there would be some point where you would talk to me about stretching an autistic individual just outside their comfort zone to promote growth and resiliency. And for routines, I'm going to say nope. Nope. This is a Peter thing for anyone who's actually watching. Nope. I feel like creating routines is a coping mechanism. It's not about needing things my way only. It's more like survival. Routines are they're very effective, but they're also a necessary tool. It helps manage our energy levels. I like to reduce the amount of mental energy used on a task, but I also like to set the routine to be as efficient as possible while maintaining a high level of accuracy because I'm also a perfectionist. So I need to be able to minimize my sensory overwhelm. And routines can even help with communication, like scripting small social interactions, like when you're placing an order or you're making a phone call. It reduces so much anxiety if you have that routine. You've scripted this thing. So when someone says to me, you need to be more flexible, or can't you just go with the flow? Sure, I can try to adapt, but I feel like what I'm really doing is I'm suffering through it. So I think instead of looking at autistic routines as inconvenient or unnecessary, and I know that's not what you're saying, maybe we could see them more as self care and pain management.
Okay, I agree on that part. So, what I'm asking you to do is make practice minor adjustments, right? Because if you do not practice a skill, then it is not going to be, you're not going to be able to function and use that necessary skill when the time comes to use it. So that is all I'm asking you to do is just create those minor, unexpected changes in order to build that ability to transition when you need to do so. Because let me give you an example,
Okay.
actually. I know you do well with examples. We've often discussed the boys, and I'm talking specifically here about Alex, who is your level one. Um, Alex, at the beginning, when he had to info dump on you, would have to give you the entirety of that info dump. And you started to create strategies where he had to learn first. At first, you would stop him within the first few seconds so he could reset and start at the beginning and then carry on. And then you taught him to maybe stop partway through and then pick up and carry on. And now he's built the resiliency and the tools to be able to now leave a conversation and pick it up the next day.
You're
So
right.
that's building resiliency.
What you're saying is true. That, yes, there are situations where you are going to have to learn to be able to not have to follow a set pattern of behavior.
Yes.
Yes.
And if you don't practice it like you did with Alex, he would have never learned that skill and that flexibility.
And I think kids are naturally more resilient in that way. I become much more dysregulated in my life than my kids do.
Yes, because you have also have they don't see you become dysregulated because of your high level of masking.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. I think if I said out of the blue to my kids, let's go to the movies, they'd both be completely okay with it. But it's because they don't have all of the demands that go with, they don't have all of the responsibility that go with going to the movies. I'm the one that has to think, do they have everything they need? I have to drive there, I have to plan the route to get there. I need to make sure that I don't forget my wallet. I need to make sure that, do you know what I mean? All of those details. I'm the one that has to think about all those details. So the responsibilities and demands that I have are higher. So my need for routine is higher. Does that make more
It
sense?
is. It does make more sense, but building in that flexibility gives you the ability to regulate and create those routines based on your strengths, your needs, and your challenges.
I will definitely say that both of my kids are able to perform certain tasks better when those tasks are part of a routine, like self care, because they are likely to forget steps without the routine. They just aren't as likely to be dysregulated when they forget those steps. So if I say, hey, did you brush your teeth? Oh, yeah, I think I did. I don't know. I can't remember. Or you can tell that I didn't use the toothpaste that day. But they're not bothered. I'm the one that's bothered because I'm the one that's thinking, oh, you're going to get a cavity, and then we're going to have to go to the dentist, and you're going to have to get that cavity filled, and that's going to be a whole thing. And then I spiral down that rabbit hole of all of the things that are going to happen because you didn't do preventative maintenance.
Yeah. So they haven't understood the true cause and effect of that situation is. And as with age and experience and, exposure to different situations builds those cause and effect situations. So you have had a lot more opportunity in doing so, and they're just like little buds that are starting to grow.
Yeah, and I didn't have as much support as they have. They don't have anxiety because I was able to be there to understand and help support them.
And I just hope that there are more parents out there that are willing to do that. And kudos to you for that, Kim.
Well, I think if parents are listening in right now, then that's what they're trying to do. So
Yeah,
thank you for
I
tuning
hope
in.
so. Next is make it fun and engaging. So it's not it you know a healthy routine needs to be fun. It needs to be engaging, and it's what's going to make you want to go back and do it again and again and keep it going and build it to make it better and more unique for you. So please make it fun, make it engaging, and when you're younger, there is a create some you know, token economy in there where they get a little bit of a reward for it. Um, and as an adult, sitting down and having that cup of tea is that token economy for yourself and having that moment of mindfulness, that calm, and just that ah, pure bliss moment of taking that first sip of chai tea latte. I can totally feel and relate to you on that one, Kim.
I think that there are probably some autistic people tuning in that are thinking, I don't have routines or I can't stick to a routine. And you might not. Everyone's different. You might have small routines that you don't notice, but sometimes there isn't a routine. What there is a system. I get very anxious about running out of something that I need, like bread. So most people would go, "Oh, I'm out of bread. I'll just run to the store and pick some up." No, I'm a single parent, so when the kids were small, I'd have to go through a tremendous amount of effort to get them ready to go to the store with me, and any kind of shopping is really dysregulating for me. So having two other little bodies that I had to take care of with their own sensory needs, one who was prone to wandering, the other who would take off like a shot at any given moment. Even now that they're older and they can stay home together, it's too much for me to just pop out. So I have a system. And it is not a routine really. It is a system. So when there is an item that is running low, I have a list on my phone. I have the this is getting low, but I could wait another week to get more, that list, and then I have the list of these are the items that I need to buy this week. And I realize that you can order everything online now and have it delivered, but it's expensive and I get really distressed if I think I'm being frivolous with money, but that is a whole other thing. So I think people that don't have routines, I bet you that they have systems. They have things in place to prevent their dysregulation.
Yeah, absolutely. And my squirrel brain just said, "Oh, Kimberly mentioned finances and money." And I thought, "Oh, that would be a great podcast." But anyway, back on routine. Um, my next one and my last one is seeking support and collaboration. So, in building a routine, it is great to be able to seek that additional support and collaboration with others in order to help you create this routine. And then then you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah, again, I think for younger people or people doing non-preferred tasks, yeah, creating a routine, like I just do it. So I don't know how to function without it. So creating a routine to me is so simple because I have to do it. It is absolutely not something I can do without. I think the other part that of this that I just like to mention because you're talking about having people support you is that I used to hide my routines to fit in better, or I would not do them to accommodate other people's preferences. So if someone said to me, uh, "Hey, do you want to get together?" Even if I had something I had to do, I would put that thing aside because I felt really ridiculous saying, "Well, I can't do that today because today is cleaning day." So after getting a diagnosis, I feel like I don't have to do that anymore. I can say, "Sorry, Thursday morning is grocery shopping and it cannot be changed. I need to go early when it's not crowded. I need to go alone so that I can go at my own pace and not have to think about anyone else. And I can walk the aisles in the same way every time." It is a very difficult thing when you have been a pathological people pleaser to say no, to say, "I need this and I'm sorry I cannot accommodate you."
Yeah, and building these healthy routine gives you that permission to say, "I need to do this," because in doing that, it's going to eliminate or reduce the meltdowns and the shutdowns that we've spoken out about in previous episodes.
Yeah, if you keep putting your routines aside or trying to hide them to accommodate other people, you're going to burn yourself out.
And I think also part of collaboration is going to help you, do those mundane tasks. For you, for example, unlike me, you don't like washing dishes. I love washing dishes, but if your son Alex is there chatting with you or giving you an info dump, that task seems to be done effortlessly and enjoyably because you're meaningfully engaged in what he's saying, and the chore of doing the dishes is done.
Yeah, if anybody wants to look that up, we tend to refer to that as body doubling. So just having another person there while you're doing something you really don't want to be doing, it is a very effective tool.
Yeah. And that's my list.
It's mine too.
Oh, okay. Well, in chatting all about this and routines and preferences and wants and needs, I'd like to take it to a more lighter subject and a more open concept conversation on your authentic self. And I'd like, and I know you said when we're on air, I have this, I put on my professionalism and my, bring a certain composure to our podcast, but I thought maybe next one we'll just, let it all fly and see and bring our authentic selves to the conversation and how important it is to do so.
I am really looking forward to seeing that.
Okay. Until then, have a great day.
We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in. If you know someone who might find this episode helpful, feel free to share. Also, check out our website and socials linked in the description.